Lisa receives yet another mail from the killer, thanking her for bringing him back into the light. Chief Gill calls the report shameful, but the force is spurred into action to look for Amy. Berkeley is now heading to Castle Moy, the area where Amy went missing. Investigations like these in small towns often require senior officers from the city. He also informs Lisa of his departure. When he reaches the Garda, Berkeley learns that an officer, Liam, interviewed a cabbie that night. Killian Wade saw a woman running in panic from a car. But before she could proceed further, a man pulled her back in. The cabbie didn't stop and Liam didn't take down his statement either. The officer assumed it was a domestic as the car drove off in the direction of Ballington. Berkeley is furious, and this represents the fundamental problems with policing in such remote areas. Loading at DC, Gareth Brennan offers to help Berkeley with his investigation, distinguishing himself from the rest of the Garda. They visit Wade, who tells them that the woman was half naked. It is an important detail that Liam missed out on. On Brennan's pressing, Wade tells them off the record that the man he saw that night was Mark Bulger. This man has a notorious track record and was even out of jail the year Janice was murdered. Possible serial killer? They get him to the holding for a chat. Mark is strangely confident in front of them. It is years of dealing with the system that breeds confidence in this vile man. He gets up to walk out when the detectives mention the girl. Mark knows since the statement was off record, the police cannot arrest him. Such is his threat around the neighborhood that no one wants to talk against him. Brennan and Berkeley go door to door but to no avail. Susie learns from the woman guard that the police likely have a suspect. She phones Lisa, who takes permission from Barbara and comes down to Castle Moy that evening. She goes to the pub that the Garda frequents and charms Liam into a conversation. Lisa professes a disguise and Liam takes an interest. Quite cleverly, she ekes out details about Bulger. She ups to leave and the other guards have a laugh, prompting Liam to chase her in the parking lot. Unexpectedly, he tries to force himself on her but Lisa kicks him in the nuts and takes off. She goes back to the hotel and gets info about Berkeley's room, planning to meet him later. Chief Gill shows up that evening. In a conversation with Berkeley, he reveals that there is a faggot on the force. Berkeley is thrown off, and it is strongly suggested that he is himself that person. We saw him earlier frequenting a spot where male escorts do their business. It is alarming how casually Gill eased his bigoted malice in the conversation. But that is why the era of the 90s was transitory. He is understandably perturbed and calls his wife. Berkeley says he will be a couple of days late to come back. That night, Lisa takes an active interest in Bulger. She stations her car outside his home and is shocked to see him bringing a heavy bag into the car. She follows him to a stop where she is able to have a peep inside. It looks like some hair and blood, but nothing is clear yet. Lisa bravely follows him into the woods to a cabin. Her cover is broken as Bulger chases her and eventually catches up. Lisa smacks him in the head and he falls unconscious. She goes back to the cabin and rescues the girl. Her name is Teresa and they make a run for Lisa's car, successfully escaping the dangerous situation as Bulger vows to kill her. The episode review. The final moments of episode 2 were quite nervy. It really seemed like Lisa's folly would come back to bite her. But it turned out to be heroics that will surely galvanize the efforts to find Amy. I am not sure that Bulger has any connection to her disappearance. It would be a huge surprise if that turns out to be the case. The Vanishing Girl would be a rarity in giving up the serial killer so early into its run. The episode introduced prominent commentary about homophobia in Ireland in the 90s. You can definitely expect it to be ramped up as we go forward. One other thing that has impressed me in the show's doubleheader is Lisa's characterization. Modern shows struggle so much with a balanced female protagonist. We have seen too many no-shows in the recent lineup. But the Vanishing Triangle promises to be a notch above the rest.